Welcome back, and welcome to something a little bit different. On Sunday the 4th, we got our first look at NLT's new game, Symphony of the Serpent. After the trailer dropped, I got the chance to sit down with NLT in his Discord with a live audience to discuss the main changes coming to Symphony of the Serpent. We ended up talking for nearly 2 hours about many different topics, including Patreon and the adult gaming industry as a whole. Here is a little segment of that conversation, and I hope you enjoy. Will sex scenes format remain the same, or will there be changes as changing position or integrating the cum shot game dynamically?
Yeah, actually, I thought about that and I really do want to change it up. So, one thing you'll be able to do is I know that some people want to skip the sex scenes. So, I'm going to have dialogue branching. I don't like to do dialogue branching because it gives different users a different experience, but I'm going to have subtle dialogue branching before a sex scene starts where you can get the gist of the story while skipping the sex scene if you want, or you could go into the sex scene. So if there's certain characters you're just not interested in, you can go through a dialogue branch that will get you the information you need that might happen in a sex scene while allowing you to skip the sex scene. If you do go into the sex scene, what I want to do is have variations where you can change positions or decide where you're going to come or whatever. I don't usually like to do that because again, I like everyone to have the same experience, and when you're talking about the game, one person doesn't have a different experience than another. But I think subtle changes like different positions and stuff should be fine. It's a little bit more work because I have to render stuff out, and I don't like the idea of someone playing the game and not seeing something like skipping content. But it will, I think it will be better to do it that way. So that's kind of the plan for the Kama Sutra pages. What I want to do is you learn different positions or whatever, and then you kind of control what happens. So like maybe you learn like the doggy style position, and then you learn the blow job, and then you learn whatever, and then you can kind of choose the order of how things go. And then incorporating the cum shot game into the booty calls, possibly. It's kind of interesting to have that as its own thing. I might do both. I mean, there's probably going to be like at the end of a booty call, you can kind of pick the type of cum shot that will happen at the end. But then in addition, also have the cum shot game as something else. That might evolve. It probably won't be in the game for a while. So who knows what it might turn into, but I kind of like it. We'll see what happens.
It sounds a bit like Lust Epidemic's Kama Sutra pages, and the way that was built was a little bit different to the other games, and it had more of a list format to it, and you had to earn
Right.
hearts depending on what you could do and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. With the Genesis Order, we removed the heart system because it didn't really make sense. Because in the story, like a character might, be more attracted to you or less attracted to you based on how the story is progressing. So by having the heart system always go up, it kind of didn't really feel right. Didn't really make a lot of sense. But we're bringing it back for Symphony of the Serpent, but only for the dating sim girls. So the core 10 won't have a heart system, but the dating sim girls will. And based on, that might go up or down, and you will need to earn more to get different types of sex scenes.
Will the XXX store or similar return in Symphony of Serpent as well?
Yeah, there's gonna be a theater you can go to. It's called the Moan Zone Theater, and it's gonna have all the XXX videos. Which basically is just an excuse to use the old models from Symphony of the or from Treasure of Nadia and the Genesis Order. It's kind of a fun way to create new content with older characters, to kind of see them again. So yeah, that'll definitely come back. I think that was a really good addition to the Genesis Order, and it'll definitely be back with Symphony of the Serpent.
Yeah. Also, for the chatters who don't know, Patreon last year changed its terms of services, allowing more BDSM content in games, and that's why we got the slightly more BDSM Kama Sutra pages. So, is that going to allow you to have some in the story as well?
Yeah, I think as long as there's no issues with any of that type of content, I think having demons in the game certainly opens up the possibility for that more edgy type of content. So yeah, unless things change, that's the plan.
Not really a question, but how do you keep making your characters look more and more appealing in each game? It's insane.
Well, it depends on who you ask. One thing I've noticed is, once you start to fall in love with a certain character, it's hard to create new characters that will break you out of that. And there was a lot of challenge with the Genesis Order with getting people to fall in love with these characters after already falling in love with the Treasure of Nadia characters.
I think Jessica from Treasure of Nadia being the main one, everyone had a heart from for.
It's funny because there's some people who say Madeline is like the hottest video game character of all time, and there's people who say I can't stand that she's even in the game. So it's just like it's very subjective. What I try to do is basically look at people's feedbacks, try to think of some directions to go that are kind of new and different, and offer a lot of different options. So if you're into a certain type of girl, you get that, and if you're into another type of girl, you get that. Then there's something for everyone, and especially with Symphony of the Serpent having like 20 different female characters, there's definitely going to be something for everybody.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed that. Stick around as I have much more to share in the future, and as always, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.